A very warm welcome, ma'am. Thanks for taking some time out from your busy schedule for giving this interview. Moving on to the interview part, my first question would be, being the manager for an INFD Kothrud Pune, kindly tell us about your experience that you have in the college and any significant challenges that you have faced during your tenure.
Okay. See, my experience when I started off with INFD Kothrud, Manish, let me tell you that I started as the head of department for both the fashion and the interior verticals that we, run courses for. I have moved up within the, institute, and today, I'm heading the institute in the position of a center manager. Throughout my journey till date, and as I can foresee, I can only tell you that, this institute gives every member, whether it is a staff member or a student, the feeling of a family. I think that is what has made this institute very strong. And the other good part, which has kept me, with this institute, and I must say kept me, because, it's not like there are no opportunities out in the industry. But the reason why people have been with INFD Kothrud for a really long time. We've had a staff which has been here with us since the past 10 years, 15 years also now, is that we have always focused upon, the students' growth as our, primary aim. We have focused upon, developing all our processes, all our systems, looking at how can be better an experience for a student, where their learning is concerned. So what happens is, in that process, every faculty is also growing and upgrading every year. And I think that is that's the best part of this job. You are working and you are still learning. So I think that's my experience when I would say, being here at INFD Kothrud. Of course, there are challenges. It goes unsaid. Every industry, at every level you have challenges. So we are also, every year facing new sets of challenges. In the current past 1.5 years now, everybody, all across the globe has faced this new challenge which has come to us because of the pandemic. So currently what we are dealing with is, of being able to give the best of our industry to our students, despite of the fact that our courses are very practical oriented courses. Fashion design and interior design are very practical oriented courses, and classroom learning plays a very significant role. So to be able to not compromise on the quality of education and still be able to give the maximum was one of the challenges that we significantly faced since pandemic. But I can proudly say that we have come out with flying colors, as I would put it. We have come out with processes and systems which have helped us to be able to give all the facilities equally as we were doing on an offline mode with the students. So that is one thing. Of course, the other challenge is the financial aspect, which all the members of the community are facing, which of course has had a direct impact on students, choosing education as one of the, primary requirements. A lot of students have, or their parents have decided to give a break in education for the children, to be able to make people understand that, education is not something that they should be compromising upon, is another challenge. So when we have students or their parents who approach us for guidance, for counseling in terms of, whether or not they should be continuing the education in this phase, whether they should be taking a break, and will it have an impact on their children's careers, that becomes a very challenging situation for us to make them understand that, a pandemic should not be a reason why they should hold back on the education part of their children. So that's another challenge that I think is the current major element we are facing. Rest, talking about how the industry changes and how you adapt to it, those are the challenges which are, I think, consistent, because that happens. The industry is going to change every year and you need to keep adapting. So that is one challenge which is a consistent one, but the current ones I spoke about.
Okay, ma'am. Moving on to
Yes.
the next question. How do you tend to establish a relation with the students being a center manager? And how do you make yourself available for them?
Well, yeah, that is one thing that we at INFD Kothrud have really always taken care of. That we have not set any protocols in terms of, when will a manager be available to you for any kind of concerns. We have kept always an open, feel to the students when it comes to, coming to us with grievances. So, student has always been given these instructions upfront, literally from the day they are inducted in the course, that they are free to approach any member of the staff, whoever they feel comfortable with, in case they have any grievances or any concerns or any queries to be resolved. And that includes me. So, as much as the fact stays that I'm the head of the institute, there has never been, a restriction on students as to approaching me. So when they are in campus, I literally have students who just walk up to my cabin and say that they want to have a word with me and they can meet me. But even right now on an online mode or otherwise, we also have another ticketing platform where a student can post his concern, query or doubt or, whatever, grievance. And I get an instant notification and I am able to connect with the student directly through the platform. So that's another way where a student can still get in touch with me even if they can't meet me in person. So the whole idea behind this is for a student to know that we are here for them as and when they need us, and that they need not have to go through a chain of, departments to reach me. If they feel that there's something that they would want to get addressed directly by me, they can just drop in a mail on the ticketing platform or call me. My number is also shared with all the students. We are a part of all the groups, the WhatsApp groups or the calling groups or the mailing groups with students. So the student has a direct connect with us whenever they need.
That's a great initiative, ma'am. Moving on to the next question. Tell us about your effort behind establishing such a successful college, and how do you plan to take it to a greater heights?
Yeah, I think here is where I would like to, go back to the initial question and, tell about how we have always believed that, keeping a very transparent communication and having a very open environment, a very friendly, homely environment is what has always helped us, in establishing this successful, organization, as I would say. We have always kept the environment to be very friendly for both the staff and the students. And I think that contributes to the stability of the other members. So that's what we first of all focus upon. We make sure that the environment, or the atmosphere of the institute is never compromised. We are very particular about our rules and regulations without being overtly strict about it. But we have our own ways in which we have always maintained a particular discipline. I feel extremely proud to say that, in the past 15 years, we've not had one case of indiscipline by the students. And trust me, in a college like ours, which is a creative college, which is a creative institute where students are far more liberal in their views, it is very easy to have a student slide down the wrong path. And, in the perspective of having the freedom of expression, it's very easy to have students really go down the indisciplined path. But we've not had any, considering that the students have been given enough platforms to voice out their views, to voice out their ideas. And I think when we encourage that, when we keep a very transparent communication with them, I don't think the students need to use any other ways to get our attention. So that is, I think, the success of the college is determined by the success of its students. Very popular phrase. And I think we also have a very illustrious alumni, students who have done extremely well in the different sectors of the industry, both interior and fashion. So that again contributes to the brand value of this institute. Our students have set benchmarks in the industry for other juniors to follow. So, they have their own role models, internally. As much as they have the other role models from the industry, their own seniors, provide a very good example for them. So that again results in every year, a batch of students being inspired from their seniors and wanting to do better. And when that is the energy of the institute, there's no reason why an institute would not be successful. So we would want to continue that. We would, we thrive towards the same goal that, we bring better prospects to our students, give them multiple opportunities to grow and help them at every stage. And, they just keep setting examples for the next generation of students from the institute.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. How do you create a student-centric environment in your college? And how would you encourage that kind of culture?
See, we, first of all, our learning methodology is very much based on the fact that we don't want to spoon feed our children. I'm going to say children here, at times instead of students, because that's how we treat them. But we like to make them, considering this is a creative field, and I think even if it was not a creative field, that's how a student should be nurtured. They should be made capable of thinking for themselves rather than just teaching them what the content or the curriculum demands. That's the way we have been teaching our students. There's a lot of research-oriented study that happens. There's a lot of self-learning that we expect a student to do. And of course, it is driven through the projects and the assignments that, we develop and create for students to be able to, utilize their individual skills, identify their weaknesses and work around it. We consider and overall development is very important for a student. So technical skills are not the only things that is going to help them in the career ahead. They need to have good social skills, good relationship skills. And we start working on a student's 360-degree development. That's how we actually define it. So we start working on their overall development right from day one. The day they are inducted into the college, their sessions start, the technical sessions start along with soft skill sessions right from the first year itself. So it's not like they reach the final year and now we have to take care of their placements and now that we should even just groom them for interviews and so. No, it doesn't work that way. So we try to, get them a conscious awareness of the fact that just being technically skilled isn't going to help them in the life ahead. There are other skills that they need to imbibe to make sure that their talent takes them a long way. So that's how academically we focus upon the students' overall development. Other than that, within the infrastructure, any and every resource that has been made available has been consciously thought of in terms of what a student would need from us. And I think these are the two aspects that we have been, focusing upon. So in terms of resources and in terms of academics.
Okay. Moving on to the next question. How do you integrate value-based education with your curriculum?
See, value-based education is again the same thing, focusing upon understanding that beyond the technical skills, they need to develop other skills, as values, your core values are what take you a long way, how you are as a person, as an individual, and then as a professional is how it should be thought of. It shouldn't be the other way that you're an excellent professional, but, you're not developed enough as an individual, as a person. So we want to keep doing that. We want to keep our students, realizing this fact and whatever it takes from our end to make sure that, they imbibe those qualities, we do it. The students, again, as I said, the environment is kept in a manner where there's respect for each other, whether it is your junior, your senior, your staff, For that matter, even the housekeeping staff is to be treated in a particular manner. I think these are little things which may not seem very significant in terms of, when you're asking me questions about an education institute. But this is more about, students becoming a complete, individual, in the true sense of it. Not just, our students would score great on their report cards and, do miserably otherwise. Makes no sense. These are our representatives in the industry. These are our brand ambassadors. And we would want them to be recognized for, all of their skills rather than just their technical skills. Because where it comes to technical skills, there are multiple other institutes providing that. What our students stand out are the way they conduct themselves in the industry and the way they perform professionally. So that's how we believe that it always goes beyond curriculum. It always goes beyond the set defined syllabus. And that's how we, start shaping them up right from day one.
Okay. How do you look at the growth of students through placements opportunities available at your college? And how do you wish to push them envelop further?
See, placement opportunities, we have a dedicated placement cell at INFD Kothrud, which focuses on opportunities for students, both in terms of internships and placements. So right from the first year itself, a student has the option of approaching the placement cell if he or she requires a placement or an internship support from us. INFD Kothrud provides 100% lifetime placement assistance to students. That means that if a student has passed out in a particular year, and even after 10 years he wants some support from the institute, he can just approach us and the support will be given. So it's not limited to the duration that they are with us. It goes beyond that. And that is why we literally, outright give 100% lifetime placement assistance. Now it goes unsaid that, a student needs to put his own efforts towards placement as well. Because bringing opportunities to a student is certainly a thing that we take care of. We even take care of the overall grooming of a student to increase his or her chances of being selected by the respective company or the client. But at the end of the day, a student needs to put his additional efforts, towards, making sure that he is well prepared with his, understanding of the domain or the industry that he's applying for. A student should be open to taking up opportunities which he or she may not have thought that, they would want to go for. For example, some students have a preconceived notion about what they want to do without even exploring, the opportunities that are there available. I would recommend students that they should be open to, that part of recruitment. They should be open to taking up profiles which are far more challenging, considering that they were not really ideally looking for it, and exploring their own strengths and weaknesses. I have seen students who were academically not, soaring high, but who are doing fantastically professionally just because they had the right attitude towards, growing, the right attitude towards learning new things. And I think that is something that our placement cell also, consciously keeps the students aware about and keeps them, updated about. So we do a lot of sessions for students where we give them an insight into the different verticals of the industry, where they get to understand, what is the scope of the different verticals, what is the scope of a particular profile, and our students are then far more receptive to, taking up newer challenges. And I think that's something that works for us. That's something that's worked for a student since the past 15 years. And where it comes to pushing the envelope, Manish, I think the thing that we are doing is, even in the pandemic, I feel extremely, again, proud to say that we have been placing our students even in the pandemic. Our students have been recruited by some of the big names of the industry to take up certain responsibilities which could be executed on an online platform. So the students have been getting recruited even in this period. Now that cannot happen without the conscious effort of the institute, because we did not let the pandemic come in the way. We did not give ourselves the excuse that, we can't do placements because the pandemic has hit and there is no requirement in the industry. No, it's not. So we've always been, looking for opportunities. We've always been talking to our clients, to our customers, to our partners about what are the things that they would expect from our students. We keep our students updated and upgraded at all times with the industry expectations. And there are times when we have actually even created profiles for our students in collaboration with our partners, wherein they get opportunities to explore, the actual industry working. So that is how we are working towards, placements of our students, because we think that at the end of the day, you might take up a course and you might get excellent grades, but eventually you want to make a career and you want that your institute should be there for you when, you need them. So we make sure that we are there when they need us. And in all, possible ways, we try to make things work for a student. And, I can say we try and we have succeeded so far. And that's what we, intend to continue.
Okay. What goals do you have in your mind for your institute for the next few years?
Okay, I think the pandemic has opened up far more avenues for us. So, if you look at the pros and cons, I would rather, set aside the cons and look at the pros. I think 2 years back, if somebody would have told us, that run your courses on an online platform, I don't think that we would have been as open, we would have been as receptive to the idea, or we would have rather even felt that it was feasible. Sometimes adversities push you to do better than what you even expected. And that's what happened to us in the pandemic. Today, we are successfully running our course. And again, I'm repeating this, but yes, this is a practical oriented course. This is not a theory based course, which is still easier, to be taught, not taking away anything from theory based courses. But creative courses and anything which is practical oriented has bigger challenges, looking at the limitations of the equipment or the tools or the materials required by the students, and in the situation right now, every area is affected differently. So there were so many, elements and affecting factors, but yet, we found a way out of it, and today we are successfully running our course on an online mode. Now, looking at that, I think what we have now decided or we have now planned ahead is to be able to provide and continue to provide our course on both the offline and the online, mode, because that is going to be the need of the hour. Earlier, we had so many students who approached us for admissions, and they were only not able to join us, because they belonged to very rural areas and their families could not, afford the cost of moving to Pune and bearing the cost of stay and, living apart from education. And hence, they had to give up on their dream of taking up this course. But I think with the online education, coming in picture, and with it being actually practically possible, which we have now realized far more, I think that's something that we have decided that we will continue. We will, not, go back to our pure offline. We will continue to offer courses even in an online mode, irrespective of the pandemic. So pandemic, we all know, it's going to be over someday. It's not a forever situation. But we have decided that irrespectively, offline courses are something that students will want, and we will obviously be restarting it once, situation is viable for it. But online education is also something that we will continue. We are also looking at expanding the palette of courses that we have right now. We are looking at how we can, give more options to the students to select from, and different permutation combinations of courses to be created. So we are in the progress of developing these courses, but that's all I can say for now, because it's a very elementary stage. I'm sure that 2 years from now I'll have more news for you to be shared.
Yeah, sure, ma'am. Moving on to the last question, ma'am. Being a manager of such a reputed college, what are your suggestions you would like to give to the current youth and the aspiring students?
I think this is something I keep saying to the students. I used to say this since forever, and I still say this. And there's only one thing that can help you grow, and that is adaptability. Times are going to change. See, change is constant. Again, a very cliche line, but entirely true. Change is constant. Changes are going to be happening. If you can adapt to them, if you can adapt and grow with it, that's what's going to take you ahead. If you stagnate, or if you refuse to adapt, if you refuse to change, that is something that's going to hold you back, no matter what talent you have. So adaptability is very important. Being open to challenges is another thing. Like I told you that, with the placement part, when I mentioned that some students have very rigid ideas about what they want to do, because they believe that that's what they're made for, or that's what they're cut for, and something else is not their piece of cake. I think another thing that I would advise students to be more receptive to taking advice from your seniors, from your faculties, from people from the industry who come and tell you. When they tell you to do something, even with just sometimes jumping with your eyes closed, believing that you will eventually be shown the way, I think that's what you should be doing. Because unless you explore, unless you challenge yourself, unless you push yourself, you are not going to grow. Students need to have a consistent effort for upgradation. The pandemic did show us that a lot of students were not ready to push themselves and take up this challenge of learning online. But that's the way ahead. That's how the new age education is eventually going to be. We've all understood that enough by now, and it is only going to grow. And especially today's generation, who's so tech savvy. I don't think there's any reason that they should have any apprehensions about even, continuing education on an online mode. So that's the way ahead. So just if they have an open mind to these things, I think there's no reason why a student would not grow. So just choose wisely. Choose what you want to do in your life wisely. Make the right decisions at the right time, because time is precious. You can literally bring back everything else, but time is something that you lose once and it's gone forever. So choose wisely, choose it at the right time, put in the required effort, because nothing comes easy. There are no free lunches in the world, as they say. So you will have to take an effort. Creative courses may look very, fun from the outside, but there's a lot of effort within it, which is equal, I think, for any course anywhere in the world, not just creative courses. But with fashion and interior, a lot of students assume that it's all fun and play. No, it's not. There's a lot of study that goes behind it. There's a lot of effort. So be ready for that. Be open to that. Push yourself and be adaptive. Just adapt to what changes are happening and grow. And there's nothing stopping you. That's the advice, I think, that I would give all the students all across.
That's all for the day, ma'am. Thank you for having with us. It was a nice talking to you, ma'am.